Shalom. Welcome to our Sukkah in Gush Etzion. I'm Avraham Shira, and we're doing a little live talk before the sun finally sinks in the sea. Shabbat is coming, and Sukkot is here, and it's all happening together. So I just wanted to share with you some ideas that came during the davening that are probably ideas that you could keep the rest of your life. To really put them in your pocket, put them in the bank, because they're going to save you every time. The Shabbat, God commands us to sit and to dwell and to do nothing. And the Sukkah, God commands us to dwell for 7 days. The Shevet b'Sukkah, also to sit. So these two connections of sitting in Shabbat, meaning doing nothing, and Sukkot, sitting in the Sukkah, and also doing nothing, but we're allowed to cook and we're allowed to make parties, and it lasts 7 days. Okay, what's the connection? Why do we call this Shira, the Shabbat, the Sukkah in the mind? Well, Rabbi Nachman has an interesting teaching. He says that a true man is the man who could sit on the throne. Well, which throne? Not everybody could sit on a throne. You can go out and make a throne, but you're going to be king of nobody. Maybe yourself. But what does it mean? What is he telling us? A true man can sit on the throne. And this idea of sitting is obviously woven into his metaphor, his idea of sitting on a throne. And of course, the implication of a throne is that you receive from all the world around you, and then you make decisions. You don't make decisions before you receive. We don't make decisions before we have enough information. We don't make decisions until we ask the right questions. And if I don't know the questions, then I need to get help. And that's why every king has his advisors, because he can't see everything at once. Now, how does this all relate back to the Sukkah and to Shabbat? Because there's a place in your mind that is a Sukkah. There's a place where you go and you dwell and you sit and nothing can bother you. Nothing in the outside world, nothing in the inside world. That is your true Sukkah. And we don't have that Sukkah 6 days a week. But on Shabbat, we have a little bit of it, a big part of it, let's say, that we dwell in our homes on Shabbat. But again, we're trying to create a holy space within. And so God, with his infinite wisdom, says, I know these people. They can't sit still for a second. They can't not think about life around them. They cannot think about the next thing I need to buy, the next thing I need to do, the next thing I need to work, the next person I need to talk to. Who's that calling me on my phone? God knows us. He knows it. It's very hard. The external world is completely a huge, useful, practical, pleasurable distraction from the inner world of the Sukkah, the inner world of Shabbat, and of course, the true attachment to the Creator. Now, what we find is the more I disconnect myself from the outside world, the more I'm able to connect to the inside world. It's like, how many plugs do you have in your body? How many information sources are coming into you? Your eyes are bringing information. Your ears are bringing information. Your own thoughts are bringing both visions and audio, voices inside your head. Of course, then you're getting information on your skin from the environment. You're getting information from your nose through what smells good and what doesn't. And of course, tastes. There's 5 different tastes in the mouth, and each corresponds to a different grade of food. All of these are ways of receiving information. And as we close them, we dampen them, we make them quiet, we're able to attach more and more to the truth behind all of this curtain, to the true soul of the universe. And that's what God wants. Now, he created this soul not to divert us, to trick us. He created this world in order that we can have the experience of attaching to him. And if I'm always in heaven, I never know what it's like not to be attached to him. So there's a great value of being here in this world, feeling so far from God, because then I can really experience the wonder, the beauty, the glory, the awesomeness of our Creator. But if I'm sitting in heaven my whole life, I don't have the ability to compare the experiences. So God says, I'm going to make them a place to sit 7 days, the Sukkah. And in that space, we're not supposed to do anything of this world, really. We're allowed to. It's not a hardcore distinction, but we're not supposed to, figure out our accounting these 7 days. We're not supposed to, worry about the tax man and worry about the lawyer and all these other things during the 7 days of Sukkot. I put those outside. And God, you know what? When you do that, God does it for you. The God will keep the external forces further away from you. And you create this buffer, this force field of peace around you. And so that force field of peace, we need it. We need it more than ever. Because the world is crunching in on us. Yet our sukkah, this little simple hut made of wood and leaves, etc., it's enough to make the distinction, the separation in space. So I bless all of us to have that presence of mind to actually enter the peace. Now, it takes work, but it's not as hard as we think. We simply have to close down the external systems, to close our eyes, to close our ears, to close our hearts to everything except the truth within, the peace that surpasses understanding. Why? Because it's the peace of the Creator Himself before creation. Because when you attach to Hashem, you're going back to the beginning of time and space. And when you go back to the beginning of time and space, there's nothing to distract you anymore. Even the fly crawling on my nose. So I bless all of us with that peace, and to have courage and to sit down and give yourself that time. Make that special place in your house where you go to be with Hashem. If you don't have a synagogue in your community, make one in your living room. If you don't have a special room where you can talk to God, make one. Go outside, sit under it, make that tree your prayer tree. Wherever you can, make yourself that space, and all of a sudden, the sanctified space will impact you in reverse, in return. And that's what the sukkah does. The sukkah is waiting for us to sit in her, because she's waiting for her transcendental light to enter this very ephemeral, momentary reality. So God bless all of you with that peace and that space. We're going to continue some of these ideas on Sunday, which is Hoshana Rabbah. It's the 7th day of Sukkot. It's the holiest of all the 7 days of the offerings of the nations that came to Jerusalem every year to bring their offerings, because, let's face it, we're all children of the same God. And we each have different jobs, and we each have to work together to make this creation as magnificent as it can be. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We look for you on Sunday. Hag Sameach. All the best.